Hey everyone, I'm Evangeline right here at etrailer. Today we are taking a look at how this Thule Roof Rack fits right here on our 2023 Kia Sorento, and I'll also show you how to get this installed. This is going to be one of my favorite roof racks to install simply because it's so quick and so easy, but the way it works is it clamps around your flush rails, giving you a really sturdy base. So if you want to carry around a roof box, a rooftop tent, some kayaks, you can do so with a crossbar system like this. Here at etrailer, we have everything kitted out for you, meaning rather than you having to figure out what parts you need for your vehicle, we do that work. So with this, we have the kit for the 50-inch crossbars, we have the Evo flush rail towers, and then we have the custom fit kit for your Sorento. So if you're trying to mix and match different things, please feel free to give us a call. That way we can double check that you have the right kit for you. If I was to measure for overhang, that would be from the towers to right before that end cap. Up front, I have 2 inches. In the back, I have a little bit more than that. So not quite enough to clamp most things around here. But if you were to have things secured up top, plenty of space. These are Thule's Aero crossbars, so they have that aerodynamic shape, large up top, tapered towards the end, plus they have flip out end caps. So if you were to use the T-channel to secure channel mounted accessories, you can. And most clamp around accessories do fit around these bars, but we have measurements and things like that here on our site if you want to double check. Opening our roof here, you can see the roof come up and take a little bit more space up above, but still plenty of space from the top of the roof to the bottom of the crossbar. So that's just something to be mindful of, making sure you have full use of all the features of your car. Looking up top on the roof, your Sorento may have a sunroof, and I have it fully open so that we can see our measurements here. Depending on where you have your crossbar sitting, that can change your experience a little bit. I have the front crossbar where it is because then it doesn't go over the open part of our roof, helping with wind noise. And distances. If I was to measure from the top of the open roof to the bottom of the crossbar, that's going to be 1 inch and a quarter. Now, where the roof is not folded up, I now have a clearance of about 3 inches. So that's something you can consider too. Please get channel mounted accessories if you have your crossbars a little bit further up. That way your roof does not snag against any clamps. If you are using clamps, well, just make sure to have your rear bar a little further back so it's out of the way. Now, I also own a Thule roof rack on my Kia, and I use the fixed mounting style for flush rails where it bolts into the bolts in the rail. I much prefer this style simply because you can adjust where your crossbars go. Now, where I have it right now is my personal recommendation. That's because the crossbars are 28 inches apart, a pretty versatile spot, and they're located near the door seam. So that means you're less likely to run into them when getting into your car, but also it's a good balance between the front and the rear of your vehicle. You don't want your crossbars too far back if you are carrying around things like kayaks, longer items that could potentially affect your hatch door clearance. I personally always have a roof rack on my car, no matter what it is, simply because I like to be ready no matter what for different adventures. So whether it's a road trip and I need extra space so I get a roof box on there, or I want to bring around some paddle boards or some kayaks, or even a rooftop tent, well, having a system like this, especially the Thule roof rack where it's super sturdy, it's aerodynamic, and it works with a lot of things, is pretty nice. Now there's several options for roof racks right here at etrailer, partly because the Kia Sorento has different roof options. So that's something that I want you to double check for yourself before you make any purchase. Look at your car and see the rails. Are there any rails? Are they flush rails that look like this? Or are they the taller rails that have a gap underneath? And those are going to be your raised rails. Knowing that will help you use our website here at etrailer to find the parts that you may need. There will be differences in crossbar size, crossbar color, as well as crossbar length. So hopefully this video kind of introduced the roof rack system to you to help you out with making the best decision for you. Now, if you're curious about that easy breezy way of installing this roof rack, stick around. Getting your roof rack set up is really easy because it's just clamps around your rails. Now, there is a bit of initial setup. For example, you do have to set up your crossbars. You're gonna have these rubber strips. So you're gonna have to take these strips apart by just pulling them apart down the middle. You'll then push the rubber strips in, and the flat part is gonna be right where the Thule logo is, which is the back of your crossbar. And then the front has arrows which point towards the front of your crossbar. So just push down on the rubber strips. Underneath the crossbar, there's gonna be an open track. So we're just gonna slide our towers through each side, and then we'll cap it off with the end cap. To assemble your clamps, you have your different hooks and your rubber pad, as well as this nut included with your fit kit. And they're labeled A, B, and C. So we'll start with hook A, and that fits onto the tower looking like that. This is held in place by the rubber pad. B, it has tabs in there that fit into the tower. You then have hook C, so there's this little part of A that it fits over. And then you're gonna secure it onto that bolt with the included nut. So we're just going to lightly thread this for now. With both towers set up, we can now gently lower this onto the rails on our roof. Now, I wouldn't get too caught up with the exact positioning just yet. We're gonna put this in the general orientation of a little bit towards the front by our front door seam. And then you're gonna start taking some measurements to make sure it's in the exact same spot, and also that your overhang is equal on each side. Depending on what you're carrying, you're gonna want a specific crossbar spread, so that is measured center to center or front to front. In our case, we're gonna go for 28 inches just because that's a really good versatile crossbar spread number. The next thing we wanna measure, like I said, is gonna be that overhang. And then once you've found that to be even on both sides, you can then go ahead and tighten down that nut, being mindful that you want the clamps to fit around the ridges of your flush rail. As I tighten down roof racks, what I always try to do is tighten them down evenly. So I'll tighten one side down halfway, and then I'll go to the other side and I'll tighten that down 75%, and I'll go back. And that means I'm not pulling the whole system to one side or the other. So that's something you can do too. As you use your torque tool to tighten down, it will prevent over tightening by clicking once you receive the required tension, like that. So make sure all 4 towers are torqued properly. And you finish off with the end caps. Now, if you do have the 1-key system, which are the metal keys that are all keyed alike here at eTrailer from Thule, then you can switch those out now. I just use the plastic lock cores because they're very sturdy on their own. Your end cap fits right in, and then you can use a flathead screwdriver to turn those lock cores. That's gonna be the process for all 4 towers. I then like to just give them a good shake just to double check the old-fashioned way. And then that's it for your installation. You can now load up your roof rack and hit the road.